Hey, good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic. My name is Mike Avery, and glad to have you along with us as we start our weekly online adventure into talking about the great outdoors, the history and tradition of the outdoor lifestyle here in the great state of Michigan, and occasionally beyond. If you're listening to us, if you're watching me outside of the great state of Michigan, you are very welcome here too. I appreciate it. It's actually a very, very nice morning here today in my part of Michigan. The sun's shining. It's going to be a little bit warmer today, and it just plain feels like springtime might be just around the corner. I'm here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio to record this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. I'll give you the rundown on that in a minute. I'm not getting any comments, which always makes me a little bit nervous, like something is going wrong. So let me pull it up on my phone and see if I can get some comments there. There we go. I'm seeing them on my phone. But I'm not seeing. Okay. I will. I'll pull up on my phone then. Good morning, Joe. Nice to have you along. It's not shining in Mount Pleasant. Huh. Jason checking in from the Ford Dearborn truck plant. Jeff, good morning. How are you? Dina checking in from Kalamazoo. Ross, good morning, my friend. How are you? It is hump day. All right, let me put my phone somewhere where I can see this. Let me expand the comments. And I don't know why that is, that sometimes when I do it on my iPad, David, good morning. How are you? Jim, nice to have you along with us. Jeff, so if I'm looking down at you, forgive me. It's not that I'm trying to be rude. I just need to see the comments. Billy, Rick, Jeff, David, Larry, nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic. So what's going on? As I say, it is sunny here. I can see, John, I see the clouds coming in now. Okay, I see some clouds coming in from the west. John, your question to me about video production. Yeah, very short sturgeon season. What was it, 35? 35 minutes, I think it was. Let me make a note there. Sturgeon season. Chuck checking in from Southern Alabama. Chuck, nice to have you along with us. Swipe right to left on your screen. Now, let me see. No, because I'm not using Facebook to do it. I'm using a program called StreamYard. And sometimes the comments just don't come through, but I see they are. Dina says the sun's shining in Kalamazoo. Ken checking in as he's rolling through Georgia. Good morning, David. Nice to have you along with us. I don't know. The days are getting longer. There's no doubt about it, right? I mean, it's light at 7 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock at night now. So we're moving the right direction. I wonder, let me do a refresh here because it's so much. But we will see if that doesn't. Okay. There we go. Da, 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 da. I just needed to do a refresh. Now, I know I lost you there for a minute, but Terry checking in from Alma. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. Larry says, a very remarkable program. Which program is that? Certainly you can't be talking about this one. Josh Mapes, good morning. How are you? Again, if you guys didn't see the Overdrive, if you didn't listen to the Overdrive Outdoors podcast with those guys, check it out. Rob Miller. There we go. It would be a great day to be out ice fishing. Chris, how come you're not out there? Larry says if they do open a wolf season, it will likely be the same as the past year in Michigan, you mean, Larry? Ed checking in from North Carolina. Ed, you're putting a lot of miles on that truck. And once again, sturgeon season. I did hear a report. There we go. Good morning, Clint. How are you? KC, Kansas City. John says, what were you saying about my tech question? John, your question is going to be the topic of this week's Ask Avery segment, where I will talk a little bit more about video production in general and how to record, how to capture moving images. I can't say record on videotape anymore. Your outdoor adventures. Brent, good morning, buddy. How are you? Brent will be joining us in Ohio. Central Coast Angling, good morning. How are you? Where the perch action is outstanding on Grand Traverse Bay. Larry says sturgeon season, wolf season, both be short. I will have a superb day, but not as well as you, Bob, because you're out there on the water today, I would suspect. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, which is the reason I'm here in the Outdoor Magazine studio, Paul Schlafly of Riverside Charters in Manistee talks about springtime steelhead fishing, late winter, early springtime steelhead fishing. Carl Yiter of the Yiter Insurance Group answers the question that I get every year. If you take your truck on the ice, does your insurance handle it? Cover it. In hour number 2, we're talking about Saginaw Bay ice walleye fishing with Captain Jeff Godey. Jeff donated a very generous walleye fishing trip on Saginaw Bay to the Trinity Monitor auction. Then Nick Green of MUCC, although I have not heard back in from Nick, he is scheduled to join us. And in hour number 3, whitetail whisperer himself, John Eberhardt, and of course, wild game chef extraordinaire, Dave Miner. Speaking of the Trinity Monitor dinner, we are sold out. Tickets are no longer available. However, we do have an online auction. Parler is throwing around $100 million for podcasts. How much they sending you guys? I thought it was Spotify that gave Joe Rogan $100 million, Scott. Yeah, it was Spotify. Spotify hadn't sent me a dime. Now I don't know why Rogan's worth $100 million and I'm worth nothing. Something's not right with that.
Yeah, that would also trickle down to Charlie and I, right?
That's exactly right. If I even got $1 million from them, Pat, I would share it with you. Yeah, $100 million to sit there for an hour and a half and drop F-bombs and get high and drink. I'm doing something wrong. The Trinity Monitor dinner. We are sold out there. Good morning, George. Good morning, Larry. 4 rabbits with a recurve. I think rabbit hunting with a recurve would be outstanding. I've never done it before, but it sure would be a lot of fun. Good morning from the Savages, George says. Good morning, George. Nice to have you along with us. The online link for the Trinity Monitor auction is up and running. I'm not going to share it with you yet because there are a few more key items that I would like to get on there before we open it up to you guys, including that Detroit River walleye fishing trip with Captain Mark Pananzik, an upland bird hunt with Lori and Brian Stroik, I'm sorry. Wreck broadheads are up there now. A shoulder mount from Scott Keatsman at Linwood Taxidermy. Also on there is a Linwood Beach Marina, a launch pass, and wild game chef Dave Miner dinners. But I'll put it up here soon. Is John Eberhardt a co-owner of Jay's Sporting Goods? He has a lot of stuff in there. No, John Eberhardt is not. The people who own Jay's Sporting Goods are the Poet family, going back to Jay Poet. John Eberhardt, though, has a very strong presence there because he used to work at Jay's many years ago, and he then became, he was their archery buyer for a while, or their hunting buyer, I'm not sure. But these days, he is a marketing rep for several hunting-related companies, so he works very closely with the folks at Jay's. Appreciate that, Larry. John says I should sit in a studio and smoke cigars and just talk about whatever comes to mind. Other than the cigars, that is pretty much what I do here in the studio. I talk about whatever comes to mind. I don't think they're going to let me. I don't think they would appreciate it if I lit up a cigar in the studio right here because it would fill the studio. I should do podcast. I should do online stuff from my truck. In fact, I have. That way I can smoke a cigar while I'm doing it. Good morning, Ronald. How are you? Ron's checking in from Au Gres. I think that's telling me. Yep, Au Gres, a beautiful city on the shore of Saginaw Bay. Chris says he listens to a lot of his podcasts. He's a smart guy and fun to listen to. He is a smart guy. He's a genius. He's a genius. He's been able to take his style of interviewing people and become a millionaire on it. Anybody who can do that is an absolute genius. I do find it interesting that Neil Young opposes Joe Rogan. I like Neil Young for 40 years, and I hate it when people who are musicians and actors become involved in politics, because then in my mind, I can't separate their music or their movies from their politics. So to me, I hate it when they do it. Good morning, Don. Nice to have you along with us. Jerry, always a pleasure. Jerry is a regular viewer here. May you?
Just interject real quick.
Yes.
I would say, though, Neil was always political with his music.
Good point. Pat Johnson, who's here in the studio, says Neil has always been political. In fact, yes, he is. He has never hidden that, going back to his days with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Doggone it, Pat. You just undermined my whole.
The others, yeah, I'm just saying with him.
My mind isn't sharp enough to keep up with Pat this morning. John C. has enjoyed the post with the wolf and bear hunts you shared on the page. Thank you. John, appreciate that. What else is going on? I did hear a report of a dead skunk in the middle of the road in the southern part of the state. You know what that means. Yeah. I haven't seen one yet, so I can't verify it. Todd, good morning. Nice to have you along with us. Ross says they'll have a full table for the Trinity dinner. Going to be a great night. It is. We had a meeting last night to talk about the live auction items and some other things. Chef Dave Miner was there as well, talking about the dinner. Ross, our live auction items are stellar. Everything from an African safari to a day of walleye fishing with me on Saginaw Bay. I mean, we have some great trips. Salmon and trout fishing with Captain Paul Schlafly on Lake Michigan. A day of walleye fishing with Captain Jeff Godey. Good morning, Hunter Joe. How are you? How old was I when I got my first deer with a recurve? Well, Larry, I can tell you I was at least 65 because I haven't done it yet. I've killed a bear with a recurve and a turkey with a recurve, never killed a deer with a recurve. The Trinity Monitor dinner is going to be great. And again, the online auction is ready to go, but I'm not going to share the link with you just yet because I think you, knowing my audience a little bit, you're going to be more excited about it when we get a few more key hunting and fishing related items on the online auction site. So maybe by tonight that'll be the case. John says, here's a concept. Keep your mouth shut and you don't lose customers or viewers. Yes, John, but if you do that, you also don't gain customers or viewers. I realized just the other day, even though I was talking about telling stories with video, that it's been 10 years now since I did a television show. And that seems a little bit crazy to me that I haven't done outdoor television now for 10 years. In some ways, it feels just like yesterday that I got out of that rat race. 41 years now in broadcasting and 10 years since I did an outdoor television show. Oh, let's see. Joe says, get an Excalibur crossbow. They're a recurve. Good point, Hunter Joe. If I shot a deer with an Excalibur crossbow, would I be shooting one with a recurve? Ross says, I was talking about you to a friend about you taking a bear with a recurve. When he comes up in August, he wants to try it and do the same. I would highly recommend it. I mean, a bear, the two critters are perfect targets for archery tackle in general, and they are bears and turkeys. Bears, because they're coming into a bait, and you know the distance. They're hopefully going to spend some time in front of you. You can wait for them to position themselves. So bears are a perfect target with any kind of archery tackle, from a crossbow right on down to a recurve. The other subject I like for archery hunting are turkeys, because though they are a little less predictable than bears, turkeys for the most part are hopefully going to be coming in close to a decoy. So once again, they're going to be coming into a known distance, and they're going to be coming in and spending some time, and you can let them position themselves a little bit. So, but nothing more rewarding than taking a big game animal with a recurve. Ross says he actually, no, Jim says he smelled a skunk in Gladwin yesterday, so they're waking up. Oh, that'll be cool, Ross. Captain Mark Pananzak, who is giving us, Mark, appreciate this, is donating a trip for two, a walleye fishing trip for two this spring on the Detroit River as part of our Trinity Monitor fundraiser. Now, that is one of the items that it will be in the online auction. We put it in an online auction to give more people an opportunity to bid on it. That online auction, I will give you the link maybe tonight. But again, I want to wait till we get Captain Pananzak's trip up there. I want to wait till we get the upland bird hunting trip up there. I want to wait till we get a couple of other things on that auction site because you folks, as an outdoor-oriented audience, I think will be more interested in. But it is up and running. It is functional. And you will be able to bid on those items until 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. on Saturday, March 5th, when we kick off the live auction. That's at Bay Valley Resort. Good morning, Patrick. How are you? Was it dead? There was a dead skunk in Bay City when my wife and I went to shoot at Duncan's on the 19th of January. That's a crazy skunk because it was real cold then. Of course, the ultimate test is when do the red-winged blackbirds return? Skunks are nice, but the ultimate test is the red-winged blackbirds. Mike, can you tell people? Well, I can't tell them, Mark, but you can. Mike, can you tell people there's a bad crack 100 yards off the end of Linwood Road? People, there's a bad crack 100 yards off Linwood Road in the Saginaw Bay ice. See, Captain, you just did it for me. Did I? Oh, I didn't plug myself in.
Oh, you didn't plug it in. No.
I bet you.
That one.
Thank you, Pat. Minor detail. And there we go. Oop, nope. You're hearing me? Why am I not hearing me? I'm plugged in over here. Right? I'm not hearing. No, nothing.
Wait. Hold on, watch this.
There I am. And that's why we do these things ahead of time, right, Pat?
That's right.
All right, Captain Mark Pananzak says, can you tell people there's a bad crack in the Saginaw Bay ice 100 yards off the end of Linwood Road? And today there is a southwest wind that's supposed to pick up, so that might be a very good thing to keep in mind. Hey, Cap? All right, Ross, got to get back to work. Hey, Ross, real quick, I got the opportunity to ride in my first electric vehicle yesterday. It was a Chevy Bolt. I am fascinated by those. Let's you and I have a conversation about electric vehicles sometime. I know you're not a Chevy guy. That Ford Lightning has my attention, and Chevy's coming out with an electric Silverado here very, very soon. I am fascinated by the concept. I guess I believe that in the not too distant future, I feel like most cars on the road, other than the semis and stuff that have to travel hundreds of miles a day, every day, are going to be electric vehicles. And I'm not an environment. I'm not one of those whack job. I'm not one of those guys. I just think it makes a lot of sense. But I'm a guy who switched my lawnmower and my snowblower from gas powered to electric. So that's my mindset. I can charge electric batteries. I can't fix gas powered motors. So that's where I'm coming from. Charlie's my guy.
Yep.
All right. Even for the podcast too, Pat?
I believe so. Yeah.
All righty. GMC will have a fully electric truck soon also. Well, they'll come out with the same time the Silverado does. My son designed the inverter for the Bolt. Well, so Mark, you have some thoughts on that, don't you, son? I figured it was son. Huh. I was very impressed with that vehicle, Mark. I took my Silverado into Garber in Midland to get some work done, and the shuttle vehicle back to my house was a Bolt. Hey, Charlie.
Good morning, Mr. Mike.
I don't feel like I've seen you in the studio for a while with me.
Trying to get me the whole day, though.
Make it up for lost time. Tim and good morning, Jen. Tim and Jen are heading back to Gladwin today. So heading back there. So you're not moved in, Jen? You're not living there yet? I know you're doing an awful lot of work. They're calling it, Ross said you can pre-order it. They're calling it, the Hummer. Well, so that'll be So that'll be the GMC version of the Silverado will be called the Hummer. Will I be going to the NWTF? No. Trekking Outdoors? No, I'm not. I haven't been going much of anywhere, and it's not because I'm worried about COVID. But I don't have any plans. I will maybe go down to the Outdoor Rama show. You know what I need, Craig? I need one of the hybrid vehicles like you have. I wish Chevy, rather than jumping right to an all-electric vehicle, was going to do a hybrid like your Ford, because I like the idea of having a gas motor backup, right? Oh, not yet. Working on a goat enclosure today for the barn. We'll be living there very soon. Excellent. Excellent. Hopefully go down to Outdoor Rama. We'll see. Maybe work my way over to the big outdoor show in Grand Rapids. But as far as a lot of the other hunting shows, no. I think I don't know if it's because I'm getting old and I'm slowing down, and in some ways I am slowing down. Best F-150 you ever owned. I was impressed by it, Craig. I think it's a very, very cool vehicle. Might be slowing down on some things, but I've still got a lot in me, I'll tell you that, including a possible trip out on the ice. I'm thinking maybe I want to do that. Not the ice of Saginaw Bay, not because I'm afraid of the ice, but it's just such a hassle, and I don't have the gear or the equipment to get out there. But I think I'm going to follow my buddy Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats. I think we're going to walk out on the Saginaw River sometime here, probably next week, and see if we can't get some walleye there. He's been getting fish. I think, Gene, how are you? Nice to have you along. You know what's really weird? My closed captioning on my phone is on. So as I talk, I'm watching the closed captioning come up underneath my name. Watch this, Charlie. That's kind of weird. As I talk, it closed captions underneath my.
Wow.
That's a little crazy.
As long as it doesn't start closed captioning before you talk.
Oh, that would get freaky. That would mean Google is listening to me, or Siri is. How much time, Charlie?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. Outdoor stuff in state is your audience, though. Unlike, true.
Here we go.
2, 1, blast off. And you know what? Nobody asked me what day it is. And now I can't do it. It's going to be that kind of day, is it? Nobody said at all, Mike, what day is it? So I'll answer for you. It's hump day. I can't believe you guys let me down. Man. Just when I thought you were there for me. All right, I got to go to work. See you tonight, 7 o'clock, Wednesday Night Live. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network. And so glad to have you along with us as we start out this 3-hour weekly adventure into the great outdoors, the history and tradition of the outdoor lifestyle here in the great state of Michigan, and occasionally beyond. A celebration of hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping and conservation issues and wildlife issues and even some wild game cooking. And why do we do this? Why do I do this? That's an interesting question. Why do I do this? I got to think about that for a second. Why, to boil it down, why do I do this? Because I think it needs to be heard. I think this is a story that needs to be heard. I think this is a lifestyle that needs to be promoted. I think this is a passion that needs to be protected. I think here, especially in a state like ours in Michigan, where we have so much going on in the outdoors, we have so many people who are tied into outdoor recreation from a business perspective. A lot of, hunting and fishing generate a lot of money. A lot of families in Michigan over many generations have survived and even flourished based on the passions of those who love to hunt and fish. But that's just one reason why I think it needs to be protected. It needs to be protected because it's part of who we are. It needs to be promoted because there are people who think we're crazy. And we know we are not crazy. We might be crazy passionate but we're not crazy about our interest in the outdoors. Days are getting longer, right? I say this every week, but I notice it more and more every week. You know, it's getting light earlier in the morning. It's staying light later in the evening. I actually heard, and I haven't seen this in person, but I actually heard a report of a dead skunk in the middle of the road in the southern part of the state. I can't confirm that, but my source is a reliable source. Of course, to me, one of the sure signs that springtime is just around the corner is that first dead skunk in the middle of the road. You'll smell them before you'll see them. People say, oh, when the robins come back. Ugh, robins. Why is a robin even our state bird? Why do we have a bird as our state bird? But for the most part, as soon as it gets nasty out, it abandons us and heads south. But in my mind, not all robins head south because I've seen them right in the middle of the winter, so I don't include the robins coming back as a sign of springtime. My true test of springtime, and this will be several weeks yet, is when I hear that first red-winged blackbird on the pond behind the house. That, to me, will be the first sure sign of spring. But in the meantime, there are lots of great wintertime outdoor activities going on. I have seen so many beautiful pictures, beautiful fish, big fish, people sending them into me here on the Outdoor Magazine Facebook page, the Mike Avery Outdoors Facebook page. And by the way, I love to see that. I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago with the guys from Overdrive Outdoors, and one of the questions they asked me is, why do you open up your Facebook page and share posts and videos from others? Because a lot of people, their business Facebook page is used only to promote them individually or the business. Well, the reason I open up the page and my social media in general is to get as much content on there as possible and give you the opportunity to share your outdoor adventures as well. Because to be honest, if you send it to me and I share it on my page, probably more people are going to see it on my page than they are on yours, just because I've worked hard to build up the page and I've got a little bit of a following. So I encourage you to send pictures, just post them directly to the page. Facebook is always changing. And so they change their way of how you can share the pictures. If nothing else, send me an email to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com and attach the picture there. It'll be a better quality anyway. In fact, that's the best way to get in touch with me for anything. Your Ask Avery questions, your comments, your questions in general, or if you want to share a picture or video on the page. If you can't figure out how to share it on the page directly, just send it to me in an email, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. But I've been saying that a lot of people have been sharing their fishing pictures. And I don't know if it's because we're having an exceptionally good year for ice conditions across the state, or if the fishing is just for some reason that much better this winter. But I am getting so many pictures of big, beautiful crappies, big, beautiful jumbo perch, big, beautiful walleye. It just seems like it's an exceptional winter for ice fishermen. And I think that's wonderful. I myself have not been on the ice this winter. As I will tell you straight up, I'm not much of an ice fisherman anymore. However, I've been jonesing to get out on the ice and go after some walleye. It won't be out on Saginaw Bay, not because I'm afraid of the ice out there, but to be honest with you, it's much more of a pragmatic excuse. I don't have the gear to get out there. In the summertime, I've got that big, beautiful Angler Quest that I can get out there and fish whenever I want. In the wintertime, I don't have a quad. I don't have a sled. I don't have an Argo. I don't have a way of getting out on the ice. And it just seems like, I got to be honest with you, so much work to get out there and chase those walleye. Is it worth it? Absolutely. In many people's minds, it is. But what I'm thinking I'm going to do, and I'm going to tag along with my buddy Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats, is just walk down on the river. The access is easy. The ice conditions on the river are good right now. The river is full of fish, a lot of small ones, but you're going to start to get the bigger females coming up in there soon. So that's something that is certainly I would be surprised by the time we talk next week if I haven't done that. And that, listen, as much as I love open water trolling, there's nothing like having that rod in your hand when a fish hits. That's why I like drifting the river and jigging for walleye. There's nothing like having that rod in your hand when a fish hits. To the point where I've had some people who are out trolling with me say, "Oh, I want to hold the rod in my hand when we're trolling." Well, okay, but not if we're running planer boards. It's not going to matter. You're not going to feel the fish hit anyway. What else? Steelhead fishing in the rivers. It's getting to be that time of year, isn't it? In fact, coming up after the break, we'll talk about that with Captain Paul Schlafly of Riverside Charters out of Manistee, talking about late winter steelhead fishing and then moving into springtime steelhead fishing. Then Carl Yider of the Yider Insurance Group answers the question we get every year. If you drive your vehicle on the ice, is your insurance void? We'll talk to Carl about that and much more. Then in hour number 2, Captain Jeff Godey of the Michigan Experience talks about chasing big water walleye through the ice. And by the way, Jeff was very generous and he donated a walleye fishing trip on Saginaw Bay to our Trinity Monitor Wild Game dinner. Tickets for that event are sold out. If you don't have a ticket for that Wild Game dinner and auction, you're not going to get one. However, what we've done this year to try to maximize people's ability to be involved in this event is we have added an online auction component. And some of the items that will be available as an online auction are a Detroit River walleye fishing trip with Captain Mark Pananzak, an upland bird hunt with Lori and Brian Stroick. Wreck Broadheads made a nice display case and several broadheads there that they're donating. Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy, a shoulder mount. Linwood Beach Marina is giving a launch pass for the year. Chef Dave Miner is offering up dinners at the restaurant. And that's just a quick example of the types of things that are available at that online auction. If you go to, if you go to my Facebook page, Mike Avery Outdoors on Facebook, there will be a link to that online auction where you can get involved and bid on these items. I would encourage you to do that. Also, going back to hour number 2 of this week's show, Nick Green of MUCC will check in. And then this week's Ask Avery segment, we'll wrap up hour number 2 with the Ask Avery segment. John Callison sent me an email after he saw a recent video I posted on YouTube about bear hunting. And he said, I want to know more about shooting outdoor videos. John is with the CMU Bass Fishing Club, and he wants to document his fishing adventures using video. We'll talk about that, even though, as I was thinking about it the other day, it has been 10 years since I produced an outdoor television show. 10 years. But I still have my hands in video, and I think I've got enough experience in telling stories using video that I'm qualified to answer that question. And in hour number 3, the whitetail whisperer. John Eberhardt talks about postseason scouting, and of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Miner. I don't know exactly what he's going to do for us this week, but he always has a great recipe. Again, if you want to reach out to me, if you want to get in touch with me, I encourage it. The email address is mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. That's mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. My website is mikeaveryoutdoors.com. Always reach out to me. Post your pictures on the Facebook page. Send me your pictures. Hey, let's share them. This is the wonderful outdoor lifestyle. We all have a passion for it. Let's share our pictures, our outdoor adventures, and hey, use my social media outlets to do it. I should also mention the not for the online auction, but the in-person auction. Johnny Bowler is donating a Michigan bear or whitetail hunt. It's a bear hunt if you have a tag for it. It's a whitetail hunt if you don't. What else? Walleye fishing trip with me on Saginaw Bay. I mean, it's just going to be a great time. All right, my friends, have a great day. I'm gonna stop this live stream here and concentrate on recording the rest of the radio show. I would encourage you, if you can, to join me tonight at 7:00 Eastern for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Have a great day, my friends.